Welcome to Behind the Signs, where I sit down with local business owners to hear their story. I'm here with Howard Kronthal, who is the broker for Exit Success Realty here in Martinsburg, West Virginia, as well as Hagerstown, Maryland. I've known Howard for about 5, maybe 6 years now, but I realized as we were preparing for this that I don't know everything there is to know about Howard and kind of more about him as a person and his background. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So
Awesome.
Howard, so tell me about how you got into real estate and then just a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Well, thanks, Mark. Thanks for the opportunity to do this. So a little bit of backstory about me. Real estate. I've been selling real estate since 2002. I'm a broker for Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, and Virginia. But what a lot of people don't know is what I did before real estate. After I graduated from college, I joined the Peace Corps for 2 years.
Didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
I was overseas in Kazakhstan for 2 years, former Soviet Union, teaching environmental education. I fell in love with the international world and traveling, so I ended up working as a program manager for a company in Washington, D.C., servicing USAID contracts across the world, and had the opportunity to travel in various countries, Israel, India, South Africa, Egypt. So I had some cool experiences, but I didn't really care for sitting behind the desk. And I needed I needed a roof over my head. A friend of mine said, well, why don't you talk to this real estate agent? They can help you buy a property. I said, okay, fine. Right. So great real estate agent. This is in Northern Virginia, helped me buy my first condo, and I rented part of it out, and my roommate helped cover the mortgage. Then 2 years later, my real estate agent, who's a good agent, following up, staying in touch with her clients, came back to me and said, Howard, you got some equity in the house. Why don't you sell that and get you into a townhouse? I said, okay, let's do it. So she got me into a townhouse, sold that house, sold the condo, bought a townhouse. Rent is a 4-bedroom townhouse, 4 levels, 2-car garage, and I rented out the rooms. Pulled equity out of that house, bought another townhouse, and then at that point, I saw how much money my real estate agent was making, right. And I also needed to become savvy on how to find tenants as roommates, and so I decided, well, why don't I get my own real estate license, and then I can buy and sell my own properties, and that just evolved, and I just loved helping people, working with people. I just love learning about people and helping them. I also am an Eagle Scout from back in the day, so it's in my blood to just help people. And it just evolved, and by doing a good job, referral business, my business grew every year. I entrenched myself with learning opportunities. Wherever there was an opportunity to learn, I would dive right in and put that into my business. And year after year, my business just grew and grew until I got to a point where I had a team as a real estate agent. But then I really fell in love with helping agents and realized that this is a time for my new chapter. So 10 years ago, I opened up Exit Success Realty in Martinsburg. And now my mission is to help agents grow their business and create it to whatever they want, right? We've all got dreams and goals, what we want our legacy to look like. And every day, I love what I do, helping agents reach their goals, whatever that might look like.
Okay. Wow. So a lot that I didn't know about Howard. So I will say this was not planned, and this isn't a shameless plug for Howard, but a lot of you out there that are probably watching this have at some point worked with Howard, and probably he helped you get started in this business. So want to give credit where credit's due. I think you've had a big impact on the real estate market, like in this area.
Yeah.
So
and
you've left your mark.
Yeah, and that's I just want to leave help agents and leave the world better than we found it. Right? It's
very cool.
In some form or fashion.
Okay. All right. So talk to me a little bit about what your core philosophy is as a real estate broker.
It's a little bit different than what most people might think. For me, it's about helping agents become better people. helping them reach their goals, whatever they might be. And yes, it's real estate, right? Got helping, working with buyers, working with sellers, making money, right? But for me, it's about helping. There's so much more that goes on in our lives, right? We've got our health, we've got our mental state, we've got our family, our spiritual, our contribution, our culture, whatever that might look like. We all have goals in all these different areas. And for me, it's important to help us become better people, to leave the world just a little bit better than the way we found it, overcome the limiting beliefs that we all have in our heads, right? The challenges that we think we can never overcome, whatever that might look like, be it in your business or financially, and I just want to be able to be there to help agents reach those goals, become better people. What I like to say is, Exit Success Realty, we're a family disguised as a real estate company.
Okay, very cool. So what are some unique opportunities that your team has working under you as a
Yeah.
broker?
So real estate is crazy out there, especially in the market that we're in right now. We've seen, super high prices, and now we're seeing the market kind of level off a little bit, or even seeing a lot of price decreases. Properties are sitting on the market a little bit longer now. So it's definitely a challenge out there for a lot of agents. So we focus a lot on the mindset, right? We've got this thing in between our two ears that is, I like to call it our CPU. Like, it's like that is the brain, right? It's our brain. Think of the brain of a computer, right? It can send us into a dark, deep rabbit hole, or it can send us on an amazing high. We as humans and agents get to decide what we want that to look like. Every day we wake up, we get to decide. Is it gonna be a good day, or is it gonna be a bad day? Focusing on the mindset, which we can control, right? Regardless of what our upbringing, our childhood, or traumatic events we've endured in our life, that's all in the rearview mirror. There's a reason why when you're driving your car, the rearview mirror is really small, right? The front windshield is huge, right? Don't pay attention to the stuff you see in the rearview mirror, because there's nothing you can do about it. Focus on what's ahead of you and in front of you, and do what you can to challenge yourself, to break through those limiting beliefs. What I always tell my agents is, you need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's going to push you to the next level. And sometimes it's just a very small adjustment, like in golf, right? A small adjustment in golf can send the ball into the rough or onto the fairway. You get to decide, but sometimes the adjustment is ever so slight, and we don't even realize it until we make that adjustment, and that's like, oh my gosh, that was it. It's like, yeah.
Okay, man. Well, if you're not feeling inspired, you better check your pulse, because that was pretty good stuff, Howard. So, talk to me a little bit about. So, you've been in the business for a while. So tell me, kind of what you've experienced and what's changed, in real estate.
Well, so I've been in real estate for about 22 years. A lot has changed. We'll start with technology. The internet had recently evolved, right? So we didn't have apps. I had a flip phone when I first started. So there was no texting. There were very little apps. The real estate agent had a lot of control, because we didn't own the properties, but there wasn't the Zillow, the Realtor.coms, the access to consumers of information about the real estate
The world
market.
felt smaller,
It was
right?
smaller.
Yeah.
It was. So we had a little bit more control, less technology, which was good and bad, right? And the social media was not there, good and bad. So all of that has evolved over the years, and everything's got its pros and cons. I think it's made our industry a lot more challenging, because a lot of times the consumer, they know more about a property than the agent who's going to be showing that property to them that afternoon, for multiple reasons. But the technology has changed, the consumer mindset has changed, products available in the lending side of things have multiplied in the available products that are out there. So, it's always evolving. But what I'll say is what hasn't changed is some core fundamentals: customer service, communication, being a good person, right? Follow up. Those things will always be necessary in our industry, and they can't be. An AI can't provide a lot of these things that we as agents can. We're boots on the ground, right? AI doesn't know local community activities, events, development, and stuff like that. So it's changed, but core fundamentals still remain the same.
Okay. All right. And we can still use technology to our benefit.
Sure.
It doesn't necessarily have to push us out of having a job, right?
Well, if we don't use the technology and we don't embrace it, we will be out of a job, because it does provide us with some tools to help us do our job more efficiently and effectively. So if you're not using them, you're slowly going out of business, right? Right? Yeah. Those who embrace it will grow with the technology, and those who don't, it's a slow downward trend before your business is no longer, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. So to kind of bring things home, so talk to me about what is most rewarding about your
job. For me, it's about helping agents. It's not about, the paycheck or the money, because, when you help other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. I think that's maybe Jim Rohn said that at one point. But I believe that, really helping, going back to what I said earlier, going back to helping agents reach their goals, challenging them, pushing them to overcome challenges that we all experience in the real estate industry. That's what gets me out of bed every day. Helping an agent write that first contract, going on an appointment with them because they are unsure, how to interact with the customer. All of that, I, entrench myself so that I can be there for my agents. And, they say when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And that's what I feel I'm doing right now as a broker for all my agents.
Very good. Well, Howard, I appreciate the time today. It was nice to learn a little bit more about you and your background, some things I didn't know. Obviously I've gotten to work pretty closely with you over the last few years, being neighbors, when I was with the previous company, and then also, serving as kind of your in-house lender for a little while as well. So, sometimes you need to take the time to sit down and have these conversations, right? Just to learn a little bit more and gain a little more insight. But if you're not happy with your current situation, if you're in real estate and you're not getting the support and the structure that you need, definitely reach out to Howard. Or I'm sure he would say this as well: if you're interested in getting into real estate, you're not currently a real estate agent. I think that's where. I think that's your strength. If I had, from the outside looking in, I think that you do an amazing job at helping new agents.
I love helping newer agents, struggling agents who want to, get to the next level, the next chapter. That's what I love to do. Really, is just help agents reach their fullest potential, which we all want as humans, is to and it's a struggle, right? And but I want to be able to help and provide some guidance or some recommendations, as call it your coach, accountability, something that I love to do. So thank you for the opportunity, Mark. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So if you're interested in being featured on one of these videos, definitely reach out, get an opportunity to tell your story. And thanks for your time, Howard.
Thanks, Mark.
All right.